prescriber of Cologuard is right for you. I'm on it. That's a step in the right direction. 60 minutes overtime.
Go in there, bro, get out!
I was actually in the shower and my cell phone and the landline were both ringing at the same time, which nobody ever calls us on a landline. So I answer the phone and it's the national desk, and everybody thought it was just the plane crashed into a building in Lower Manhattan. So we jump in the news car and we go down, and then we realize what's going on. The very first thing I shot was of the tower. I'm actually standing on our news vehicle on the roof of it. We're on the West Side Highway, and it was just in order to get a better perspective of what's going on.
What happened? What? The building collapsed. Part of the building collapsed. At least that's what I think happened. Everybody's running like.
There was so much dust and the street signs were hard to see that it never really dawned on me that one tower already came down. There was a gentleman, he has 2 briefcases, and I asked him, hey, can I talk to you for a minute?
Can I ask you a couple questions rather than just having a bad day?
He said, oh, I've had a really bad day. So I just gave him the space and continued to leave. The noise of the second tower collapse, to me, it sounded like a jet flying over. That's why I went up. And then you see the tower collapsing.
What happened? It collapsed. The top floors collapsed down. I saw it blow and then ran like hell. Thank God. I'm 69, but I can still run.
At the end of the day, what we're trying to do is capture real moments. You just kind of follow and try not to get in anyone's way, but document real moments of what's going on.
What'd you see?
Everything. I saw chaos. It's chaos out here. It really is. So the Twin Towers fall. Amazing. Crazy.
I'm Randy, and I'm Dave, and we're Papas.
Thank you. We appreciate the opportunity for you to join us again tonight. Hadn't had a chance really to say hellos because this had been so heavy on my mind. Today, the 19th anniversary of September 11th, 2020. A time that many of us will always remember and many of us will never forget. If it's Friday and you're in Savannah, Georgia, and if it's Friday and you're in Savannah, Georgia during a pandemic, if it's Friday in Savannah, Georgia, and you're in the middle of a pandemic and you know you have no place you're supposed to be, if it's Friday during a pandemic on a Friday, you realize that you need to keep the faith and follow the science, then you know that it's time for us to spend some time together. This is our weekly love session called Friday Night Live. And I am just so honored that you have chosen on this Friday night, as you keep the faith and follow the science during this pandemic, an opportunity for us to get together and to be together. I appreciate you all. for being here, and appreciate you indulging me. Because again, I showed the video because being a New Yorker, and my parents and family are there, and having friends and family that were impacted, you know, sometimes we forget about just how horrendous that day was. I certainly would never forget where I was on that beautiful day in New York. I was actually here in Savannah, and I was actually at the Chatham County Police Department, and we were sitting there talking about EMS services. And while we were talking about EMS services, there was some reports about a plane hitting the World Trade Center, and I started getting phone calls from some friends in New York, and said, "Ain't this a trip? Somebody just flew into the building." And then after that, it was a little bit different later on, and we knew for then that this country was victimized in ways that never happened before. I work with young people who have no concept or meaning of what September 11th was. And you think about it, if someone is under 19, 18 years of age, I mean, they just don't have a clue. But for those of us that remember how Homeland Security came into play, how TSA came into play, how our lives changed forever. We know that that was a very tragic day in our life, and it is a tragic day in our history, and we know that we should never ever forget. This was the single most deadliest terrorist attack in human history. The single deadliest terrorist attack in human history. 2,977 fatalities with over 25,000 injuries and substantial long-term health conditions. There are people who are still dying from cancer and other related maladies because of September 11th. It was also the single deadliest incident to firefighters and law enforcement officers in the history of the United States, as we lost 343 firefighters and 72 police officers on that day. So we remember those whose lives will forever change for that. We remember those on American Airlines Flight 11 and United Airlines Flight 175 that hit the North and South Towers. We remember the American Airlines Flight 77, which crashed into the Pentagon, and the United Airlines Flight 93 that was that flew into a field in Stony Township, Pennsylvania, after the passengers thwarted the hijackers from causing more damage. So I want to take a moment from our usual, because this is an unusual event, to be able to remember them. I hope that we will never forget those sacrifices and the days our lives change forever. So wanted to do that. Again, thank you all so much for joining me. So glad that you're with me this evening. And I'll say some hellos. I see Jerk saying, yeah, I mean, you know, they don't understand just how dangerous that was. Wayne, good to see you. Janice, thank you so much for joining us as well this evening. We have a lot to talk about, so I'm going to kind of jump into it, and then we'll take some questions and see where y'all are. So to all of you, I usually say hello to. Gwen, I'm sorry you've lost. You lost COVID. You lost a friend to COVID. Hey, Jerk. Actually, I did. I had a pop. Yeah, it was good too. So yeah, so you're right. I saw it. I went for it. So you're right. But thank you all for those of your thoughts prayers about those of September 11th as well. Audrey, hello. Jen was at Pace outside the North Tower. Yeah, so let's talk a little bit about that. Michelle, thank you for joining us. Terry, hello, thank you. Nancy, I hope you're doing better. Kelly, thank you so much. Hey, good to see Tony Jordan and Ed Beatty. Omega, thank you for joining us. Brenda, I need an appointment. Cree, good to see you. Charles, hello. Nicole, good evening. Felicia was in Savannah, right? Michelle, good evening to you. Dion, good evening. Raymond, we took precautions after the fact. I mean, it happened 10 o'clock in the morning. We didn't know what was going on. I do remember that Savannah, because we have the ports and because our airfield, the Hunt Army Airfield, was an alternate landing site for military aircraft, I know that those were shut down. Military bases were shut down as well. Thank you, Jacqueline. Hello, good to see you. Let me see, who else? Michelle, we'll talk a little bit about that. Michelle, remind me to say something. Hello, Deborah Nesbitt, good to see you as well. Keisha, hello. Jennifer, hello. Val, it was one of those little icy pops. It was blue, and I just had to do it. Happy birthday, Lynette Wright. Everybody tell Lynette happy birthday. Yeah, so thank you, Ann. Thank you. Hey, Trigger, good to see you. All right, Carolyn was working in Brooklyn that day. All right, we're glad to have you here. Joyce, hello. Dorothea, Stephanie, good to see you. McIvy Media, good to see you as well. No, it was not soda, Camilla. It was not soda. It was actually an icy. I like an icy pop. That's what it was. Ed, we will talk we'll talk a little bit about that as well. Hey, Sheila, good to see you as well. Gloria, hello, and Sharon. Hello, Bernice. Thank you for joining us from Washington State. Joyce, hello as well. So let's go ahead and get into it. Hey, Princess. Good to see you, Princess. Glad to have you. Hey, my cousin Pam, mom's doing great things as always. Good to see you. And we'll talk a little bit about JP's Law at one of our shows, get you on. Leslie, good to see you. So let's get started. Pastor Timmy, Harry Thompson, Michelle, all of you. So we're all wishing happy birthday to Lynette. Here she is. She'll be spending her birthday turned up, and she's spending her birthday with me. So anyway, so let's talk. So a couple of things I want to talk about a little bit off the norm today. And it's on my mind. So since we're spending this time together, that's what I wanted to do. This month is Suicide Prevention Month. And this is an extremely important issue. It is a stigma that needs to be broken. Suicide is the 10th leading cause of death in the United States for all ages, the 10th leading cause. Every day, approximately 123 Americans die by suicide. There is one death in the United States every 12 minutes. So within the 1 hour of this show, 5 people will die because of suicide. Suicide takes the lives of over 44,965 Americans every year. Depression affects 20 to 25% of Americans 18 plus in a given year. And I wanted to talk about that. And there's one suicide for every 4 suicide attempts. And the reason why I wanted to talk about that is it's the thing that we really don't talk about. And although we know, according to the CDC, that the highest suicide rates are among whites, whites, American Indians, and Alaska Natives, we know that suicide affects everybody. And we know that this year, this time has been very, very hard. We know it's been very, very difficult for people this year. Depression is real. Our minds are only set to really conceive, which is why we kind of need God, because we're only we only have a certain amount of bandwidth, so to speak. Our minds only have, a certain amount of capacity. Today's sparkling ice, black cherry. We only have a certain amount of bandwidth to handle things. And life is hard. Life is difficult. If things came at us one at a time, we would be okay. When I was growing up, I used to watch Bruce Lee movies. Some of you might have watched Bruce Lee movies. And so you would wonder, how could Bruce Lee walk into a school or into a building and beat everybody's behind in the school? Well, it was simple. He was fighting them one at a time. So, you go in there one at a time, you're fine. I mean, coming to my neighborhood in Brooklyn, we bum rush you, Bruce Lee dies, period. But life is such, if it was one issue, we could deal with that. But life oftentimes bum rushes us. It's all of a sudden haymakers coming from every single way. If it's not you today, it's okay. Thank God it hasn't happened to you. Keep living. Because there comes a time where sometimes stuff just becomes too much. Beyond, and I mean, especially during these times, which is why it's so important for us to be very careful about how we treat people, to be very careful about what we say to people, because you don't know what hell somebody in their mind is going through. There are many people, many of us, we're public successes, but we're private messes. We get up every morning and we put on this mask, we put on this air of invincibility, and we'll go out and we'll smile and we'll make things happen, but inside we're being ripped apart. And that could be because of our health issues. It could be because of financial issues. It could be because we got cabin fever from all this COVID stuff. I mean, it could be because people are driving us sick. It could be because of our spouses. It could be because of our children. It could be because our parents are getting older. It could be because our money is not reaching like it's supposed to. It could be we had a major life change. We got divorced. Or it could be because mama or daddy died. It could be because we had a loss in our family. I mean, it could be a variety of things. It could be loss of friends. I mean, sometimes things will shift on you. Before you even know it, things have just changed. You can't do the things you used to do no more. I mean, I used to be able to jump out of bed and go about my way. I can't do that anymore. I got to ease out of bed and do it real slowly. And so the point I'm trying to make is that we all, at some point or another, reach breaking points and how we deal with it. And what I'm saying to you is that suicide is real. People are killing themselves every day. People are killing themselves literally by the hour. And I wanted to make sure you had the suicide prevention hotline. They call it the Lifeline. It is 1-800-273-8255. 1-800-273-8255. And for those of you, and I'm sure we're speaking to somebody who is either at the end of their rope or close to the end of their rope, I'm telling you that we care about you. That's why you're here with us on Friday Night Live, because you're part of our date night family. We care about you, and we want to be a help to you. And if you feel like, you're losing it, if you feel like there's no way out, if you feel like your life is caving in all the way around you, we want to make sure you get the help that you need. And you know what? All of us need help sometime. And if people tell you they don't, they're lying. We all get stressed out. We all have our moments. We have those days where, the Superman thing, the the veneer of being Superman or being Wonder Woman or being Black Panther. You know, we have those days when we don't feel so super or so wonder or so Pantherish. And so for those days, 1-800-273-8355, if you all, 8255, I believe it is. Is 8255. If some of you will put that in there, and that is the National Suicide Prevention Hotline. There's help out there. You may not need that number, but somebody you know and love might. And so let's do what we can to prevent that. More and more young people, again, doing some of the same things. I want to make sure that we do all we can to help protect people. And if you can help us to help protect people, we could do that. Again, we all go through hell. So, you know, do me a favor, be careful about how you treat people, be kind to people. You know, you just never know what people are going through. So thank you very much for that. Thank you for indulging me. As you know, we'll move on to COVID. COVID, we're still on the incline. We're at 134 total deaths. We're at 7,697 cases as of right now. We know that Labor Day, some of y'all turned up. I saw pictures and video, and and some of you I know are, you know, questioning what happened. And I'll tell you what happened. You know, we've been going back and forth with the state about mandating masks. You know, ultimately, Savannah was the first city in the state to mandate masks, and so we did. The governor's last order basically said that, well, we can regulate it, but we can't regulate it in private spaces. So basically, private businesses can do what they want to do. And so that is why many of you have reported to me, and I know I heard it. And thank y'all. Some of y'all are telling people that y'all are here. Yeah, we're all here for you. But the issue was that, you know, private businesses, we could not regulate what they did in private businesses, which is why on our Friday date night, we agreed that I was not going to patronize any business that did not require a mask. And I was asking you that if a business chooses to disregard the safety of their employees and the safety of their customers by requiring masks, then I wasn't going there. And I see some of that crap I hear about Walmart on 17. Unless y'all get it right, I'm not going out there either. I know it's not in the county, not in the city, but come on now. Come on, people go into your stores. You need to be able to do the right thing. We are trying to protect people. If you want people to be safe, if you want your employees to be safe, don't subject them to that foolishness. Please, ma'am and sirs, we want you to do the right thing. So that raises a really interesting point. And I've been hearing the conversations one way or another, and it dealt with to go to school or not to go to school. And this has been the most interesting week about that. I will tell you that, you know, that's not my decision. And so for those of you all who've been coming up and saying, hey, you know, you need to let kids back in school, let my kids back in school. I don't have nothing to do with that. I don't have anything to do with it. So I don't know. You keep asking me. I don't have anything to do with that. I do not. However, the superintendent of our schools, our school board has something to do about it. My position, since you asked, my personal position is that you don't open until it's safe to do so. You don't open until you can guarantee as best you can the safety of our students, our teachers, our school personnel. Unless we're able to do that, then, you know, my position is that, you know, we don't open at all. So that's where I was. And I know that our superintendent is working on a reentry plan. And, you know, hey, Kim Wilson, good to see you. You're looking way better. But if people are going to do these things, because the funny part about it is I see people go, let our kids back in school, and then the moment we have an outbreak, why did you do that? Come on. It's a very difficult position that our superintendent, a very difficult position that our school system is in. And so, you know, I want them to make the right decision, but make the right decision, you know, want to make the right decision using the science, following the science. Right now, we have like a 9% positivity rate. That puts us in a red zone. That means there is significant community spread. Let's get the numbers down. I mean, we're running kids back in school, and we don't have a way to keep them safe or socially distanced. I mean, how does that work? I think the superintendent has told me quite some time ago, and she told us that, you know, they would have a plan to let people back in when it became right to do so. And they would start with younger grades, the younger kids, and those that have special needs. So I'm gonna let them do that. Latrell says that, right, school is not a daycare. And I mean, many people found out, I mean, you know, maybe you appreciate your teachers more. Because, you know, I mean, I know some people, their kids are off the chain, and, you know, they have to now be home with some of their kids. And they found out it's not as easy as they thought it was. So maybe we'll be appreciative of our teachers and our school personnel. You know, we just need to make sure that we are able to do things and do it right. So, you know, that's the issue with that. I support our superintendent and the very difficult job that she has, our school board members, and the very difficult job that they have. I'm glad to see Alderman Dietrich Leggett from Savannah's 2nd District on. Had a chance to hang out with him this week, talking about some things regarding violence in our community. So I appreciate him and appreciate his service to our city. So that is what I wanted to talk about regarding that. You know, you're right, Gloria, you cannot please everybody. Everybody is into this for a different reason. And I think that the overarching thing is safety. It has to be safety. It has to be safety. It has to be safety. Hey, Jennifer, thank you. And I appreciate you being here, but we have to do things. We have to keep people safe. We have to keep our kids safe. We have to follow the science. So that's the deal with that. And so we'll talk a little bit more about that as we answer some questions. But I have a special guest on tonight, and we wanted to talk a little bit about some great things that are happening in our community. This is a young man that I've been blessed to know for quite some time, and someone that I consider one of our great role models in our community. And so we are bringing you on, sir. So come on in. Come on in. Here you go. How you doing? This is Terry.
What's up, my brother?
Hey, everybody knows Terry Enoch. Terry Enoch is one of the most outstanding young men. Well, he's older than me, that I know. We went to Savannah State together. He was Chief Justice of, and you got a lot of light over you. There you go. That's better. You got these two lights.
Right, let me cut some of that out.
Yeah, you look like you got a halo on you. But he was a Chief Justice at Savannah State. He then went on and has a great career in law enforcement, and became a major with our sheriff's department, left and became an assistant chief with the Savannah Chatham Metropolitan Police Department, and then became the chief of the school board police department. He just does a bunch of things. But he's a great man and someone I'm proud to call brother and friend. The Chief Enoch, thank you so much for joining us.
Well, thank you so much, Mayor. Thank you for having me today. I'm very excited about being here with you tonight.
Well, we're glad to have you. And so if you didn't have enough stuff to do, you have now a new title, and you are the campaign chair for the 2020 United Way campaign.
Wow. Yeah, that's those are some big shoes to fill. These are, as I said before, some unprecedented times. And we're doing a campaign like no other in our 82-year history. And I tell you, it's one that's ran almost entirely online. So we're doing this via video conferencing. We are doing some social distance presentations like we did today,
Right.
which I thought was just awesome. Leopold, really just, man, the support that he gave, setting just a great example of what our business community can do to help us in this campaign. As you know, there's a lot of folks out there hurting, man.
Right.
And they need support. And, you know, I'm hoping this campaign, you know, will be able to meet the needs of our communities throughout the Coastal Empire.
Well, I know every year, and I've done a lot of these during my years in which we talk about how important the United Way is.
Yeah.
And we would always say, hey, one day you might find yourself in the shoes of someone who needs United Way. Well, this pandemic, a whole lot of people have needed the United Way. Tell us some of the agencies. I mean, you know, when you see the United Way, you see United Way agencies. You can tell us about some of them?
Yeah, so I don't have there's about 54 high-performing nonprofit agencies that work
like
with
the American Red Cross?
American Red Cross, you know, the American Second Harvest of Coastal Georgia is one.
Right.
Family Promise, the Royce Learning Center, Step Up Savannah, Goodwill,
Right.
Georgia Legal Services. Those are some just off the top of my head.
Right.
But there's a lot of support services. I call those our first line workers. They're out on the front lines working with our families and children to make sure that they have the resources and the services they need in order to survive this thing. This thing is tough, man, and it's hitting families like it's never done before. There are some saying that we're still in the early stages of it. Some think that we're in the middle, but I can tell you it's having a tremendous impact. A good example, as you know, your hospitality industry, which is a big engine that drives Savannah. It really sells and tells a story about who we are. Almost 85% of the hospitality workforce was laid off. And although they're slowly coming back, many of them are already living from paycheck to paycheck, just trying to make ends meet. And so this campaign really just goes to the heart of helping our community, creating a safety net. So you won't have to wait for the government to send that stimulus package.
Right.
We create our own stimulus package for our local economies, so people have a place to go to make sure they still have a roof over their head.
Right. I think about organizations like Park Place Outreach that deals with kids that have run away. Safe Shelter.
Yes.
You know, that's our only domestic violence-related shelter here. CASA, which deals with young people that are in need of guardians that light them. I mean, there's just so many agencies that
Union
we use
Mission.
every single day.
Yeah, Union Mission helping the homeless. I serve on that board as well.
Well, we want to say that Wesley Community Centers. I serve on that board.
That's right. That's right. Yeah,
Curtis,
but just
well, I mean, think about our partners, Curtis Cooper and JC Lewis. They actually did testing for COVID for free of charge in the communities. They were going in communities and you know, they were testing people for COVID.
Yeah, absolutely.
So we have this strange year, and obviously you picked the short straw because you're doing this during COVID, and we're doing it almost all virtually. You know, usually in Savannah, we do a big kickoff, and then everybody's out doing presentations. I mean, we're really going to need people to put on their working hats and step up this year.
Yeah, and let me tell you, just like tonight, using social media, all of our media friends that are out there who really care about the communities in which they live and work are partnering with us so that we can get our message out, so that we can engage people who've not been hit as hard, that can help put just a little bit aside to help many of our families and children that are struggling right now. And so I appreciate, Mayor, the opportunity to be here tonight just to talk about Union Mission, what we're trying to do is we try to mobilize the caring power within our community. And there's so much caring power out there. We have so many people that care. And so we're trying to mobilize that. We set a goal for $8 million, but you know what? I'm encouraged that we're going to meet and exceed that goal, because that was our goal last year.
Right.
And what we saw is that the need is still even greater. We're getting off to a slow start in fundraising, but I'm encouraged because there are so many people out there that, they want to give and they want to help. And so I'm encouraged about those opportunities that's there. And I know we're going to see this thing through. I appreciate your leadership. You stepped up in a big way. You always have. You have such a giving heart, and you're always willing to be there to help people. So I really appreciate that, Mayor.
All right. So we know you're just getting started. This is literally day 2.
Day 2.
I mean, we went to Leopold's, and Leopold's has the best ice cream that you've ever tasted today. And it's in honor of United Way. Tell us about that brand new flavor just at Leopold's.
Yeah, so it's called Georgia Pecan Blue. Blue is the color that we have that we've adopted for the campaign. It is a sky blue. So although when the skies are when it's dark outside, there are still blue skies, and it's a message of hope. And so what Leopold's did is created an ice cream that represents the hope that we're spreading throughout our communities in the Coastal Empire, all the way from Liberty County to Bryan to Chatham to Effingham. And so that hope is what we know we have to spread and give our communities the faith that no matter what this COVID may bring, as long as we work united, as long as we work together, we can survive this thing. And so I'm encouraged. Leopold did just a tremendous thing, and he's one of the first business icons in our community that stepped up and said, we're going to create. They created an ice cream, a flavor just for this campaign.
Yep.
And some of the proceeds from that is going to come directly back to the United Way to go into our community fund to help families and children get the services and the resources they need to get through this thing.
Wow. All right. So now you're in day 2. You got $8 million to raise, and we know how determined you are.
Right.
And so you probably raised about $10 so far. So you have $7,999.90 to raise. So if
That's
people
right.
here want to give, if they want to donate to United Way, what's the best way for them to do it?
Listen, you can go online. You can go to UWCE, United Way of the Coastal Empire.org.
UWCE.org.
UWCE.org. And that they can give right there. They can go online, go to our website. They can also give there. There's a lot of workplace giving programs. So if you work in some of our larger businesses, there are some workplace giving opportunities that you'll be able to give there as well.
Well, and I definitely want to thank you and certainly Bren, the United Way team. As you know, the city of Savannah got CARES money, $3.3 million. We chose United Way because of their length and breadth and their bandwidth to be able to get this money out. And every day, people are calling. They are helping people. They are stopping evictions. They're stopping foreclosures. They are helping people keep their lights on and their water on. They're doing it even in the midst of all of this.
Yeah.
And so 211, if you need help, if you live in Savannah and you have losses due to COVID, which you can demonstrate, meaning that if your bills were late from March to August, and it's because you lost your job, your hours were cut, you can call 211 and we will help you. Now, if your bills were late in January and February, ain't much we could do for you. But during COVID, we can help you.
We back in March, United Way saw an immediate need to start a COVID, what we call our COVID-19 response, rapid response fund. And we call it the Rapid Response Fund because we need to get money in the hands and resources in the hands of people who need it the most. And so we started out and we raised over $700,000. And let me tell you something, we have helped so far in just that fund alone, over 1,900 people who were struggling with housing and utilities, you know. And what's interesting about that, man, is that over 90% of those were first-time callers who never called the United Way before. And so that's an indication of what the need is out there. The need is so great. The need is so great. And so there's so much, you know, there's still a long way to go in this thing. And folks are hurting. We got staggering unemployment in a health pandemic, you know, not to mention, you know, we're in the hurricane season. So we also have to make sure that we put some aside and just in case, you know, that something hits here and it again puts us at risk as well. So yeah, this is a tough time. It's a big call, but you know what? I know God is leading and directing us, and I pray every day that He uses me in a way that serve His people and does His will. So I just ask that I decrease and He increases. That I'm less and He's greater, brother.
Well, we agree with you on that, and we know. And although people on here, you know, sometimes we don't want to admit it, but many of us, not you, because I know you got a couple of retirements, but most of us, certainly me, some of us are one paycheck away.
That's right.
I mean, and that's why you give, because I'm a firm believer in karma. I believe what you put out in the atmosphere comes back to you. And I know people that when they're helping people when they can, if they need help, people come to them. Sometimes people wonder why nobody want to help them. Was when you had a chance, you didn't help anybody. Yeah. Give, and it'll be given back to you.
No doubt, man. No doubt. The word talks about giving. And so we have to, man. It's about really giving to United Way is really about the community, investing in the community, investing in itself. You know, when residents in Chatham County give, they are investing in their friends and neighbors and their former coworkers who are out there trying to, you know, just make it and provide for their families. You know, we're just helping people get the basic needs, man. And you know, that's tough. But I'm so glad that we have a platform like the United Way. And we know there's so much power, man, in when we work united as a united community. And one of the things that I've known you all your adult life.
When I had hair.
That's right. We both had hair. And one of the things, and we've had some mentors in our life that have really encouraged and mentored us to be givers and to make sure that we take care of those who are most vulnerable, who need us the most. And so appreciate the work that you're doing. Thank you for being a great leader with the United Way and helping us lead us through this campaign. We're really just helping ourselves. The needs are just so great.
Well, what I'm going to commit doing is, if y'all will provide me on Friday, what's our number, I will go out here and we will say something about it every single week. The census is coming to an end, so I need something else to talk about. All right.
So I put in $10 so far. That $10 came out of my pocket. How much more do we have to raise? What's that number?
You got now. You said 8 million. You said 9 million, 8 million.
8 million.
So $7,999,990.
All right. You know what? There's no doubt about it. We're already on the way to getting there. We're going to claim it. God has ordained it, and it's going to happen because it is for His people. So
we're going to stand united. We're going to be united. And for those of you who work and, you know, they do United Way, don't throw it away. I mean, people come, do something.
Yeah.
Help somebody out. You might be helping your child one day.
That's right. That's right. You know, one of the things why I was almost voluntold to do this.
Hey, hold a minute. Alfred Kerry Hardy says Aero Training Center USA commits $100. So
now,
So
Oh
you're
my
at
God.
$7,999,890.
Okay, we're heading there. Oh my
I
God,
mean, you're closer,
that is
man.
powerful.
You're closer.
That's powerful. I'm
Hey,
getting closer.
Alfred. So make sure Alfred turn that money in. So Alfred, we're gonna be looking to make sure we got that money.
All right, I like it, man. Love it, love it, love it.
Well, man, we appreciate you coming out and sharing with us tonight. Appreciate you stepping up again, doing all the things you do. Thank you for your work in keeping our kids safe, and keeping them safe and our facility safe even during this time. I know that your folks are out there still working, even in the midst of this.
Yeah. We wow. Our kids, man, we got over 38,000 of them, and we miss them, and we care about them, and we don't know what the new normal is going to look like, but whatever it is, we're going to have open arms welcoming them back. We're always planning and how to make sure we keep them safe, and so we're working on plans right now as we speak to hopefully bring our kids back and make sure they get the quality education that they need in order to move forward. So some great things are happening in spite of. Yeah.
Well, thank you again so much. We appreciate you. And again, we will have some status updates. I'm hoping that we'll raise a little bit more money before next time you come. We wouldn't want you to, be shamed. So we're gonna help you out there, Terry.
Well, I appreciate it. I appreciate you helping us, mobilize the caring power in our communities. And
right.
our job is to improve lives, and we're doing that. And we got a big task ahead of us. But let me tell you something. Today we moved the needle, and every day that we move that needle, we are helping and saving and providing resources for the most vulnerable people in our communities.
We moved it $110. So
that's right.
Hey, we'll keep moving it. I'm gonna buy some ice cream tomorrow and support it. Okay.
Absolutely. Thank you
so
much.
Thank you so much, man.
Thank you for having me, and God bless. Look forward to seeing you guys next time.
All right. Thank you.
All right.
Thank you. That was Chief Terry Enoch, and again, working with us to raise money for the United Way. We'll go ahead and see what's going on out here. I know that a lot of you are going back and forth, and let's talk about this. I mean, because, and I hate to say this, but I could actually see the school issue from both sides. I mean, there is a side in which you have parents that have to work. You have to get up and make sure there's a roof over their head, make sure that there are lights on, make sure there's food, make sure that the needs are attended to. And if you are a single parent and you don't have the wherewithal to be able to, you just don't want to leave your kids with anybody, it becomes very difficult that somebody has to stay home with that child. And so I definitely get that. On the other end of it, teachers are to teach, and they're not babysitters, and we have to be as concerned about them as well. I think the safety of our young people is important, but we also know that young people can also be super spreaders, and we know that they can be asymptomatic. They come in contact with a teacher or paraprofessional or a cafeteria worker. I mean, let's be very, very clear. I'm in schools a lot, and I mean, it's hard to make kids walk in one single line down the hallway. And so to say you need to wear a mask to make sure you remain socially distanced and you can't horseplay and those things, it is a hard, tall order. I've known the times, even in my prior lives, when kids are like turned up on the bus, and I mean I'm riding next to a school bus with kids hanging out the freaking window, and the bus driver is doing their best to drive the bus and maintain order on the bus. If we're socially distancing on a bus, we know then it's much more difficult. I was told that if we had a 77 passenger bus, that if you're social distancing properly, you're only putting 12 kids on that bus, which means that the kids are spending all day getting to school and all night getting home from school, which means the instruction time is small. So we really need to talk about, when we're talking about this, talk about the quality of the instructional experience, the quality of the instruction experience. And so that is why we elect school board members. You know, that's why we do, to address those types of issues. I mean, and to be honest with you, I'm glad that I'm not a school board member right now. I'm glad I'm not the superintendent. It is a very difficult spot to be in, and you are damned if you do, and you're damned if you don't. You are. And so our superintendent has come on here and told us that they would do it when it became safe. And as I understand, she's providing the metrics for that to occur. And so when that occurs, you know, we will know. I mean, if we're saying it's 5%, then we know at 5%, that's when we will start doing some different things. But I know one thing: you can't be out there not wearing a mask and living your best life, and not keeping your distance, not washing your hands, and expect that your kids are going to come back to school anytime soon. Just saying. And I would rather not do it than to do it and have to stop. I think that's very disruptive as well. Alfred says, can he get a match? Somebody want to match Carrie Alfred for $100. I know Edie said that she wants to give some money. So Edie, why don't you match $100 tonight for the United Way of the Coastal Empire? Oh, look. Reverend Thurman Tillman says he'll match whatever Brother Enoch does. Well, Brother Enoch only did $10, so we have to get him up, do a little bit better than that. So, and since Reverend Tillman is on here, I would be remiss if I did not tell you that the census is how you count. When I got up this morning, I recognized that I counted, I mattered. You count, you matter, you do. And the way we show we count to the United States government is to participate in the decennial census. I'm not sure if I pronounced that right, but it means every 10 years. And this is something that we need to do, should do, must do. The enumerators are coming to your house. If you don't want them coming to your house, do the census. Do it online right now, my2020census.gov, my2020census.gov. We know this is how we're able to get the money we need to do the stuff we need to do. So please do that. Melanie Wilson says, let me know where to send a check. Melanie, if you write that check, I will come by and pick it up. And I know I missed the cake today. I got caught up. But I know it was a great cake. Hey, Brenda Roberts, I owe you a phone call. I know that. Glad to see Pastor Ricky Temple joining us. Good to see you, Pastor Ricky. I know it's not as motivational as your moments, but I mean, I'm trying. I'm doing what I can to stay connected, sir. But thank you. Eric Curl, are you giving Eric Curl to the United Way? Let's see. We want our children to stay safe. We sure do. Kim Wilson says that one teacher just passed away in South Carolina. So our condolences go out with that. Terrell says, our kids staying safe playing high school football? I don't think so. I mean, you know, but again, you know, these are decisions that these schools are making. I mean, in the end, you know, it's up to parents to determine whether their kids play or not. Let's see. Elaine says, try to go out there tomorrow, and I'll see what you're describing. I don't know what you're talking about. Jeanette, good to see you. Oh, look at that. Kate made a donation United Way for $100. Thank you. All right. Takesha says, we're up to $310. Thank you. What else? That's right. Pastor Tillman has put up the census, my2020census.gov. Takesha says we're up to $410 from this show right here. Pastor Tillman, Brenda says, what incentives are in place to encourage our citizens to complete the census? I mean, do we give them like a toaster oven or something like that, iron or something? Because if not, I'll do mine again. Hey, Jazz, thank you. Juan, thank you. Hey, Snowy. Hey, Condolita, I've already did my census. You don't have to come by my house. Ed, thank you for following your census. Mardell's, they're knocking on doors now. My big brother, Slice Kennedy, thank you. And yeah, we have a litter issue. And I mean, I think part of the issue is two things. One thing is we have to have trash cans or more trash cans. The second thing is we have to change behavior. We have to do that. We have to change behavior. I mean, you know, dogs don't mess up around where they eat. I mean, we have to take pride in our community and not just throw stuff down. And it amazes me sometimes you see people and they just throw stuff out and we don't even do nothing with them. I mean, it's the most amazing thing that people don't even do that. So we have to do that. Thank you, Pastor Rick, for giving to United Way already. Completed online. I'm sorry. I crashed. I'm sorry. I'm crashed. I lost sound. I'm back. I lost sound. I apologize. But good to see you, Teresa. And hopefully you can all hear me again. So for us, I know my sound is back. All right, Takesha says we're up to $510. And so I'm glad about that. All right. Let's see what else we got. Well, y'all telling me I don't have no sound. All right, hopefully you should hear me now. Let's see. All right, hopefully you can hear me now. But we need to make sure that we're able to do, hey, good to see Katrina Pollen of Elevate Me LLC. She will elevate your life. She will get you looking better than you looked before. She will elevate you. So shout her out. But again, you know, it becomes, it's a very difficult situation. I mean, you know, we all have elected school board representatives. I mean, y'all call me about everything. I do not have anything to do with schools, but if you feel, however you feel, call your school board members and let them know. You know, if the superintendent is going to have the responsibility, if something goes wrong, she has to have the authority to do what is right. And so I'm saying, I don't know what right is. Well, what I am saying is I know 9% is too high of a community spread rate to put young people in a situation to come back if we don't have a plan to keep them safe. I mean, we just don't. We have to be people who are willing to help with solutions than just pointing out the problems. Again, I think our teachers want our kids in school. I mean, you know, people who are real teachers, you know, if they're a real teacher, they love kids. They get their high by being with kids. It's their adrenaline, if you will, being around kids. Guess what? Most teachers hate the Zoom. They hate it as much as the kids do. They hate it. They want to be back in school around these kids, but they want to be safe too. Because if one of these teachers turn around and they get sick, you know, and they go home, you know, and they die or something happens, you know, what y'all say, oh, ash to ashes, dust to dust, your kid will recover. So, I mean, I'm just saying that understand the very difficult time that we're all in right now, recognize the very unusual time we're all in right now. I know that our school board, our superintendent is committed to getting kids back as soon as they possibly can. But on the other end of it, let's just agree that teachers matter too. Let's agree that cafeteria workers and custodians and school bus drivers matter too. Let's agree that the data clerk matters too, and the school nurses matter too. And guess what? That, you know what? They should be able to be safe too. Okay, if we can all agree on that, I think we'll be better off because of it. I really do. So, you know, they have families, they have loved ones. You know, let's not make this our, you know, let's not make this, again, we should be finding ways to agree and to work together. You know, pray for the superintendent, pray for the school board, pray that they make the right decisions. And again, don't make it off of fear. Don't make it off of perception. Don't even make it out of desperation. Make it based on the science. Because I do not want Savannah Chatham to be one of those systems that opens up and we have an outbreak and all of a sudden now we're closing because, you know, we weren't able to do those right things. So we want our kids in school. I certainly want them in school because, you know, when kids are not in school, they're in our neighborhoods and things happen. And so we know some of our juvenile numbers go up. So I want them in school too. You know what? I never thought I'd miss a school zone. I mean, I want to be able to go to school and see students and, you know, I mean, I think that's where we are. But keep in mind, we're living in times unlike what we've ever lived in before. These are very strong times. Carolyn, I know that you're late. So you are in timeout. You don't come to Friday Night Live late. You know that. So Carolyn, Just letting you know that. But we're going to continue doing the best we can in our community. We're going to continue to follow the science, and hopefully next week after the superintendent talks to the school board, maybe I can get her to come on and talk to us and see what's going on with our young people. So again, I appreciate you all coming and hanging out with me. I want you to know how much you uplift me, how much you make my Friday nights better. I don't have to do Netflix and chill because I got y'all. Right? I mean, we get together and all 2, 3, 4, 500 of us spend some time together. So I really appreciate you. Appreciate your thoughts, your prayers, your encouragement as we go through these times. But I do know we would only get through these times if we get through them together. No man, no woman is an island. And so sometimes I think God does these things, allows these things to happen to allow us to remind ourselves just how dependent we are or should be on him and on each other. So we should be always reaching up. We should always be reaching across. And so I reach across to you, and I appreciate you all so much. Again, this is a place of positivity, and I want you to know how much I appreciate you, how important you are to me. And if you feel like your world is caving in, if you feel like times are getting too hard, I want you to know I'm here for you if you need to talk with me. So reach out, holler at your boy. So thank you so much. Have a great night. Have a great weekend. And let's remember the lives of those lost on September 11th. God bless you. Good night.